Our first artist this week is Kumi Yamashita. Kumi was born in Japan just outside of Tokyo and lived there until she came to the United States as a high school exchange student. Her mother studied fashion and would design and make clothes for her and her two sisters when they were growing up. Her father was a sculptor, and he was also a professor of industrial design who had a strong interest in traditional Japanese crafts. He could draw really well, and when he explained things to Kumi and her two sisters, he would take a pencil and paper and make a simple but beautiful drawing of what he was describing. When she was little, she said she was happy as long as she was making things. In fact, her father named her Kumi, which uses two Chinese characters. The first character, the one on the left, translates as to make or to create. And the second character on the right translates as beauty. She never consciously made a decision to become an artist. She just continued doing what she most enjoyed, and her family supported her 100%. Kumi says she's always loved light and shadow. She remembers sitting on the porch as a child watching shadows change in the afternoon light. For her artwork, she said once she figures out the shadow's shape and the light that she needs to use, she can begin crafting the actual sculpture, which might mean she needs to carve a piece of wood or to fabricate different materials to get the effect that she wants. Kumi said she's constantly experimenting, trying different ways of creating pieces and figuring out what will work the best. So take a look at her artwork that's on the far left, the one that looks like colorful square tiles. So if you take a look at that for a second, see what you notice about it. If you look carefully, can you see on the right side of the square the profile of a face? On every one, there's a unique person. Each square is slightly molded in a way to project a unique portrait of someone that lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Our next artist this week is artist Larry Kagan. Larry Kagan creates his art with an arrangement of metal rods that are placed carefully in the path of a specific light. And the only way that you can see the artwork is if the light and the rods are lined up at a certain angle. So if you move either the light or the rods, the art disappears. You may have seen this kind of shadow art before. These are Indonesian shadow puppets, and they're made out of leather. They're used to tell stories behind a screen, so the audience can see the shadow, but the leather puppet itself is also decorated very beautifully. So look carefully at these pictures. What is going on here? This is the work of Damon Ballinger, and he's a graphic artist that lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. So Damon was commissioned to paint 20 fake shadows in the downtown area of Redwood City in California. And the purpose was to bring more creativity to the area. So he says that the shadows give regular, mundane objects a lively spirit so that people can have a little fun in their everyday life. So he chalks the stencils for this onto the sidewalk, and then he paints them dark gray.